What is going on, everybody? This is the Reformation Keegan, and today I'm doing something a bit different. We are going to rate Crash Bandicoot video games. And this specific tier list, full disclaimer, does not have the Game Boy Advance ones. So, like Crash Purple, Crash Entranced, those aren't going to be on here. I could actually make that a separate tier list, but really, I don't enjoy the Game Boy Advance version of Crash because I don't connect with it the same way. But I will say though, the boss battle with Entrance from Crash Entrance was amazing. But other than that, I didn't really connect with those levels. To me, I'm a regular PlayStation guy, and that's how I remember Crash. The original trilogy, along with CTR and the Insane trilogy and Crash 4 now. That's how I remember Crash. So today, we are going to look at some of these games and see where I rank them. So, as we can see, this specific tier list that was created a while ago has Masterpiece, Insanely Good, Pretty Good, Decent, Mediocre, Crap, and Haven't Played. So, let's get started. We have Crash 1. So, Crash 1 is a rather polarizing game because it doesn't age as well. But at the time, back in 1996, people were apparently raving about this game. I was born in 2001, so I didn't play Crash right from 96, but I did start playing around 2005. So I was around 4 years old when I started playing Crash, and I remember very fondly because I would play Crash in the morning, and then I would get sent to kindergarten, and then I'd come back home and I'd keep playing Crash. So Crash 1 to me as a young kid was really really good, but the one thing that I did struggle with was the mechanics. So like for example, like Crash doesn't run very fast. He doesn't jump very far. His movements feel a little delayed. So Crash's motor skills, in essence, are a little delayed in this game. But I think the game still holds up because it's really, really strong in the aesthetic department and the story. A lot of people say that Crash 1 doesn't have a story. There is a story. It's just not as in depth as Crash 2 or Crash 3. Instead, the story's a little more concise because I think Naughty Dog viewed this as an experimental game, and I don't think they fully knew whether this game was gonna be as great as it was or not. So they were taking a risk, and I think honestly, I will still put Crash 1 in the masterpiece territory because I think if you look back at it, even though this was an experimental game, I do believe that Crash 1 serves a great purpose. And if Crash 1 wasn't as good as it was, we wouldn't have had a Crash 2 or a Crash 3 or even a Crash 4 later on in 2020. So I have to put it as a masterpiece because one, I wish Stormy Ascent was actually included in the original game, but apparently it was too difficult. But there are some really good levels in this game. For example, like the Embryo boss battle, tremendous. Even the Cortex boss battle was pretty good. They're like the Boulders level. Insanity Beach being the first level, pretty legendary. The Great Gate is a good level. Slippery Climb is a great level. Even Road to Nowhere is a great level, even though it's really, really difficult. But this game, sometimes to some people, it's overly difficult. But for me, I like the challenge. Crash 1, masterpiece. Now we have Crash 2. So I have a very deep relationship with Crash 2 because it was the first ever Crash game I ever played. And to me, this ticks all the boxes. So Naughty Dog took what didn't work in Crash 1, they changed it within a year and made Crash 2, because Crash 2 came out in 1997. And the level variety is amazing. My favorite level maybe of all time is Unbearable, where you get chased by the giant polar bear and then you eventually ride Polar at the conclusion. What a level and what a game this is. I love the story because Cortex, he's trying to get world domination through crystals. He ends up playing Crash, and Coco and Embryo are trying to warn Crash of this. And even though Crash catches on, he still goes and gets the crystals anyway. But then you start gathering the gems. And unlike Crash 1, where you have to not die to get the gems, in this game you have to get all the boxes. So this game to me is amazing. Road to Ruin, one of my favorite levels along with Ruination. The music in this game, absolutely incredible. Man, I cannot say enough good things about Crash 2. To me, this is a masterpiece of a game, and in my opinion, I think it's the greatest PlayStation game of all time. And I'm not even saying that to be biased because I am a diehard Crash fan, but to me, the story of this game, the aesthetics, the gameplay itself, the music, it ticks all the boxes for me. And it was a really good game because of that, but also the graphics got even better from Crash 1. And again, this was all within a year. So, to me, Crash 2, absolute masterpiece. Now we have Crash 3 Warped. And this came out in 1998, so again, a year after Crash 2. The aesthetics are pretty much the same, but now we have a different ability in this game, and when you beat a boss, you end up getting a new ability, like a brand new ability for each one. So what happens is, like, you beat Tiny, you get the supercharged body slam. Eventually, you get the double jump. You get the speed shoes to go beat the time relics, which some people love. I think they're okay. To me, they don't really add that much, but some people love them. And you get the death tornado spin, which is also really cool. There's always been a great debate over Crash 3 and Crash 2 over what is the greatest Crash game of all time. I side with Crash 2, but I would totally understand why you would side with Crash 3. To me, Crash 3 feels more like an arcade game, which isn't a bad thing. It's just it's got more it's more colorful. I feel like the story's a little looser, in my opinion. But the inclusion of Uka Uka is great because he's one of my favorite characters ever, along with Entropy. I will say this, I do think Crash 3 does have Crash 2 beat in terms of boss battles, because I think the finale with Cortex is one of the best boss battles of all time. The battle with Entropy, albeit easy, amazing. The battle with Tiny, it was pretty simple, but to have Tiny in the Coliseum and Cortex sitting basically on his throne and Tiny throwing lions at you, pretty cool. Dingo Dial is probably my favorite Crash character of all time, but to me, other than the boss battles, I still find Crash 2 a bit better. But there's nothing wrong with Crash 3. Again, the mechanics on the motorcycle were a bit iffy as they were with the jetpacks in Crash 2, but I do think Crash 3 has a lot of presence, and again, like I said, it's a very colorful game. And I think a lot of things work well in it. But to me, Crash 2 is still the best. But at the same time, Crash 3 is still a masterpiece. I think along with Spyro, the Crash trilogy is probably the greatest set of games of all time in terms of being a trilogy. So Spyro and Crash for me would be the top two. Now we have Crash Team Racing. Again, it's got to go at masterpiece, because this game, it's not just a racing game, but it tells a story. And this is going to be an unpopular opinion. I think Crash Team Racing is better than Mario Kart, and I know I will get crucified for that, but it's my opinion. I think Crash Team Racing, just, it has more story to it. I think it's more fleshed out. And also, you have Ripperoo as a boss, and he's talking to you, but all he can do is maniacally laugh. And the creators turn that into a cohesive language, which I think is absolutely brilliant. If you haven't seen that on YouTube, I highly recommend checking it out, because it might make your day. And then we also have Nitrous Oxide. Really, really cool character. I love that he was included in Crash 4. I just wish he would have been a boss. Maybe you could replace him with Entropy in Crash 4, because the Entropy boss battle compared to Crash 3 was pretty disappointing. But Nitrous Oxide, another cool character. And plus, too, the mechanics for this game in 1999 were really good. So I have to put Crash Team Racing in masterpiece. Now we have Crash Bash, which came out in 2000. I will put... you know what? I'll put Crash Bash in pretty good, because it's like a Mario Party game, but for Crash. And I think it served its purpose. I don't replay Crash Bash a lot, but I do think it's fun for what it is. And I think some people took the game a little too seriously, but I think it's just meant to be fun. And I think if you take it as just being a fun game, it would be in your decent to pretty good tier. So we got Crash Wrath of Cortex. This came out in 2001. This is the actual glorified Crash 4 to a lot of people, and I thought that too when I was a bit younger. This game... a lot of people harp on this game, but I'm actually gonna put it in. I'm gonna put it in pretty good, because I don't like the graphics that much in this game. To me, it's a disconnect from the original Crash games. But one, the music, the soundtrack in this game, absolutely incredible. The stories the story could be at masterpiece level if it was written a bit differently. I like the idea of Crunch Bandicoot kind of being the minion of Cortex, but eventually kind of seeing the error of his ways. I think you could really tell a good story with that, with better writing and better execution of this game. But apparently, Traveler's Tales had to rush to make this game, and I think it's kind of prevalent, because like a lot of things just they feel incomplete, and the game does feel incomplete, especially from a storyline point of view. But I will say the level gold rush in this game, it's brilliant. I think that it easily could have been in Crash 3, especially with the theme of the time twister with entropy. I think you could have easily had gold rush in this game if you want to take it back. And if you were to make like a 5 level warp room, I would have it in this game, or in my particular game. So what I mean by that is, let's say hypothetically you have 5 warp rooms and you can pick 5 levels for each warp room. Gold Rush would definitely be in that one. Also, the boss battle with Air Crunch, absolutely amazing. That's another one of my favorite boss battles of all time, actually. I just think the execution on this game could have been stronger, which is why it'll be in pretty good. Okay, we got Crash. This is Crash Nitro. Yeah, alright. This game, it's mediocre. I did not enjoy this game. The mechanics aren't that good, and you would think they would be for being a bit of an older or younger game than CTR, but even though it's a bit older now, but CTR completely blows this out of the water. I can't. So we also have Crash Twin Sanity, and a lot of people want a remake of this game, and a lot of people have this as their favorite Crash game. I think it's a little bit overrated in my opinion, but I'm still gonna put it. I'm gonna put it in insanely good, even though it is a bit overrated, because I don't really like Crash in an open world. I don't think Crash is designed to be in an open world. But one, Cortex, the characterization of him, absolutely amazing in this game. And when you have to team with Cortex, that's always a pretty cool plot line. And I do like too in a lot of the levels when you do have Cortex with you and you guys are fighting and you're rolling in a ball and you have to try to control that. I think that's pretty cool. This game's pretty cool. It's almost like a Elseworld. So if you follow DC Comics, they have Elseworlds where they take characters and they put them in other timelines, just to see what they would be doing and how they would be doing it. This is what I view Twin Sanity as. It's almost like an Elseworld. But this game also, like Wrath of Cortex, it feels incomplete in a lot of ways. And I know a lot of people like the soundtrack and the music for this one. I don't. It doesn't feel like Crash to me, in my opinion. But nevertheless, Dingodale's great in this game. Great boss battle. But other than that, it's a little bit overrated. But still, insanely good. Okay, we got Crash Tag Team Racing. Again, mediocre. Just, I think creators were trying to capture the same thing as a CTR, and I just don't think it holds up. And it's fine, but it's not terrible, but it's not decent either. It's just kind of there, So I'm gonna put it in mediocre. Crash of the Titans, I can't. I tried playing this. It's such a difference of Crash. Like, one, the look. Two, Crash is throwing punches and like brawling. Like, I don't know, man. Like, same thing with Mind Over Mutant. I think we can put Mind Over Mutant in there too. Embryo was hilarious in Mind Over Mutant though. But the thing is, like, Crash in a more open world, it doesn't connect to me. But again, some people like it. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. I just happen to not like these games. I will say though, the Crash Insane trilogy, I actually will put as a masterpiece, because I think for the most part, the renditions of the original 3 games were pretty accurate when they were redone. I like the addition of adding Stormy Ascent to Crash 1, because again, a lot of people thought that game, even the creators thought the game was too hard, the level itself, but I loved it, and I actually beat it, and I'm not that it was easy, but it was easier than I thought, because I had constantly been thinking about the reviews of the level. But it was fun, and also we get the new Future Tense level in Crash 3, which is perfect. This would have been a perfect final level for the original Crash 3, because you already have Gone Tomorrow and you have Future Frenzy. Though those 2 levels are 2 of the best levels in Crash 3. But you also, would get future tense, which would be the third. So there'd be a trilogy of futuristic levels, and those futuristic levels, even on the PlayStation 1 version, look incredible. And with the graphics of 2016 and 17, they looked even better. So Crash Insane trilogy, they picked up a lot of good stuff. They even fixed on Crash 2 when like Crash would be shooting Wumpa Fruits out of his skull, cranium to engine. They fixed that and had Crash throwing them instead. So those little details, they go a long way. Okay, now we have Nitro Fueled, which is basically a remastering of CTR. Again, masterpiece, just fantastic. You couldn't have made this any better, because again, it was a rendition of Crash Team Racing, but there were other elements added that I think worked really well. I think the mechanics are even better. The aesthetic looks fantastic, and it's just a fun racing game. Like, what else do you want, right? So, Nitro Fueled, masterpiece. And now we have Crash 4, It's About Time. There's no Team Rumble in this one, but we do have It's About Time, and I love this game. I think it fits perfectly as a sequel to Crash in its original trilogy. I really hope we get a 5 and 6 down the road. Then we could have two different trilogies. I think that'd be pretty cool. But Crash 4 for me, absolute masterpiece. I didn't know if I liked the graphics on this game because they seemed very, very Disney-like, which I don't mind Disney graphics. But just for a Crash game, I didn't know. But then it really started to kind of hit me that, okay, 2020 graphics are going to be a bit different. Get with the times, and I thought now the graphics are great. I started liking them about a few months after I started playing the game, and the level Offbeat along with Potion Commotion, those two levels, I cannot say enough good things about. The only knock that I really have on this game, or actually two things. One are the relics, because they're insanely difficult to get to, almost to the point that it's unplayable. And two, the Entropy boss battle. That was really disappointing to me, especially with the boss battle that we got in Crash 3. I was really hoping for something more. But other than that, I thought the game was a masterpiece, and I really hope we do get a Crash 5, because I still think there's even more things you can explore going forward. I didn't mind Entropy being really the top foil for a while until Cortex turned again. I thought playing as Cortex was pretty cool in this, and you get to play as Dingodile in Crash 4, which to me almost automatically puts it at masterpiece level. And Dingodile actually controlled pretty well too, so I was happy about that. But yeah, this is just a really fun game. Really, really fun game. The Engine boss battle with Engine almost being a rock star now is pretty cool. Both Cortex boss battles are really good. So I can't complain at all. The Embryo boss battle was fun, but I kind of don't know why, canon-wise, he was teaming with Cortex again, especially after he blew up Cortex's space station at the end of Crash 2. But I don't know. That's a plot hole I think we could easily fix. But to me, the game's a masterpiece. So let me know what you think. Don't forget either to like, share, comment, and subscribe. These are just my opinion on Crash games. I'm a diehard Crash fan, as some of you know. But let me know what you think. Let me know where these games rank for you. And in the meantime, I'll be putting out some more shorts and some other videos, and I'll be back with more relatively soon.